The spiritually awake do not disappear from society because they are weak. They disappear because they understand the cost of presence in a world that thrives on distraction, manipulation, and shallow approval. They observe the chaos and realize that engagement with every noise, every demand, every emotional tug erodes their clarity, drains their energy, and dilutes their power. They see the patterns that keep ordinary people trapped in cycles of approval, resentment, and dependency, and they choose to step away rather than be consumed. Withdrawing is not a retreat. It is an act of preservation, of strategy, of discipline. They do not need to justify themselves to the world because they are accountable to a higher standard. The integrity of their mind, the steadiness of their focus, and the strength of their awareness. When they withdraw from toxic influence, they are not avoiding life. They are protecting their capacity to act decisively, to think clearly, and to grow without interference. Every conversation, every relationship, every environment that thrives on fear, gossip, manipulation, or emotional volatility is recognized as a potential threat to their clarity. They distance themselves not out of anger but out of foresight, knowing that proximity to instability can undo years of internal development. They observe people who depend on conflict for energy, who seek control by invading others' peace, and they measure the cost of engagement against the value of their own stability. They refuse to participate in games where rules are designed to confuse, manipulate, or provoke. Instead, they create their own rules, grounded in self-discipline, awareness, and intentionality. Every withdrawal is strategic. It is a conscious act that ensures the energy they possess remains within their control, and the power they cultivate is not wasted on trivialities. They are aware that true influence comes from action backed by clarity, not from constant visibility or social performance. By stepping away from toxic influence, they maintain their mental, emotional, and spiritual equilibrium, and in doing so, they make space for higher-level thinking, creative action, and genuine connection with those aligned to purpose rather than chaos. Withdrawal does not make them invisible, it makes them untouchable. The absence is a statement of intent. It signals that their life operates on a different frequency, one that others cannot easily disrupt or manipulate. Their boundaries are precise, uncompromising, and consistent. They understand that society often rewards reaction and noise, and they deliberately choose silence, reflection, and selective engagement. This discipline gives them an advantage over those who constantly seek validation through confrontation or attention. Their choices are guided by results, not appearances. Every step they take is measured, every engagement is intentional, and every withdrawal is calculated to protect what matters most: clarity, power, and the ability to act without interference. They do not seek recognition for their absence because their aim is not to be seen, it is to be effective. By withdrawing from toxic influence, they create an environment where their energy is preserved, their focus is sharp, and their growth is uninterrupted. The spiritually awake are not disappearing, they are evolving. They are constructing lives where every decision, every action, and every connection serves their purpose, aligns with their values, and enhances their strength. Those who do not understand this may label it as avoidance, isolation, or detachment, but in truth, it is mastery. They master themselves first, and society second. Their disappearance is silent but potent. It is not a retreat from life. It is an advance in strategy, a rise in discernment, and a deepening of power. Those who remain entangled in societal noise will never comprehend the advantage of selective withdrawal. They will continue to sacrifice energy for approval, conflict for attention, and distraction for comfort. Meanwhile, the spiritually awake move forward quietly, purposefully, and with unshakable integrity. Their absence is their presence. Their withdrawal is their influence. Their silence is their strength. And in a world desperate for chaos, those who master withdrawal become untouchable architects of their own destiny. Every action they take is magnified by the power of what they choose not to engage with. And this is why the spiritually awake are quietly disappearing. They are building lives of clarity, strength, and mastery that cannot be shaken by the ordinary demands of society. Silence is not emptiness. For the spiritually awake, silence is a shield, a reservoir, and a weapon all at once. Society constantly demands attention, reaction, and validation. Every message, every opinion, every expectation pulls at your focus and chips away at your energy. Those who are awake understand that responding to every demand dilutes power and clouds judgment. By choosing silence, they protect their energy from being spent on trivialities, conflicts, and emotional manipulation. They do not speak to impress, to justify, or to conform. They speak only when their words carry weight, clarity, and purpose. Every conversation they enter is intentional. Every engagement is deliberate. Silence is their way of maintaining control over their mental and emotional space. It prevents the chaos of others from infiltrating their clarity. It prevents distraction from stealing time that could be used for growth, reflection, and action aligned with their values. They understand the power of absence in dialogue and influence. By not reacting impulsively to every provocation or criticism, they avoid giving energy to those who thrive on control, manipulation, or attention. Silence allows them to observe, analyze, and understand patterns without interference. It sharpens their insight because they are not constantly reacting, they are consistently watching. Their energy is conserved, their focus sharpened, and their decisions are more effective. Society often rewards noise, drama, and visibility. Many people confuse silence with weakness or disengagement. The spiritually awake see this clearly. They understand that remaining silent in the face of chaos is a demonstration of power, not passivity. Silence allows them to act strategically, not emotionally. It enables them to move through life without being weighed down by the opinions, manipulations, or distractions of others. Energy is not wasted on proving a point, winning an argument, or being liked. Instead, it is channeled into growth, clarity, and action that matters. Silence also communicates strength to others without confrontation. People notice the calm, measured presence of someone who does not react to every push, pull, or challenge. That quiet strength commands respect. It establishes boundaries without hostility. It influences without coercion. Those who are spiritually awake know that words have weight, and unnecessary words dilute that weight. By speaking only when essential, they make every statement more impactful. Silence is also a tool for self-mastery. It teaches patience, restraint, and discipline. It forces awareness and presence. It allows reflection before action, ensuring that responses are intentional rather than reactive. This discipline creates mental clarity, emotional stability, and spiritual resilience. In a world addicted to attention and reaction, silence becomes a radical act of independence. It protects them from burnout, emotional fatigue, and manipulation. It ensures that their energy, focus, and creativity remain under their control. Those who are awake understand that visibility does not equal power, constant engagement does not equal influence. Silence, when used strategically, amplifies their presence and strengthens their effectiveness. The spiritually awake are quietly disappearing from society because they are choosing silence over noise, presence over performance, and control over chaos. Their power is internal, and their influence is magnified by what they choose not to engage with. In a world of distraction, those who master silence rise above, unshaken, untouchable, and unstoppable. Disconnection is not avoidance, it is focus. Spiritually awake people understand that constant connection to social pressures, obligations, and external expectations fragments attention and weakens their purpose. Every interaction, every message, and every social demand carries a cost: time, energy, and mental clarity. They recognize that staying overly engaged with the world can dilute their ability to think clearly, act decisively, and maintain inner strength. By creating intentional disconnection, they reclaim control over their attention, their priorities, and their growth. This is not isolation for the sake of loneliness. It is selective engagement where every action, every interaction, and every presence is evaluated for its contribution to their life and purpose. They focus on the things that matter, ignoring the noise that distracts from results. Disconnection sharpens their perception. Without constant interference, they see situations, people, and opportunities with clarity that others lack. They are no longer reactive to every drama, every opinion, or every demand. They can observe patterns without being drawn into conflict or distraction. Their focus becomes precise, deliberate, and unstoppable. People who are awake understand that most of society operates on automatic responses, emotional impulses, and external validation. They choose disconnection as a strategy to rise above that chaos. It allows them to act from intentionality, not habit. It allows them to make decisions based on truth, not pressure. It allows them to develop skills, wisdom, and insights that others cannot access because they are too busy reacting to the constant pull of external forces. Disconnection also preserves energy. Engaging with constant noise, manipulation, or drama drains the mind and weakens resolve. By stepping back, they conserve their vitality and focus it on personal growth, strategic action, and meaningful contribution. Their disconnection is subtle, purposeful, and protective. They are not absent in weakness, they are present in power. They are cultivating depth, understanding, and resilience that only comes from deliberate distance from distractions. This approach allows them to see the world clearly without being clouded by opinions, criticism, or societal pressure. Their judgments are based on observation, strategy, and understanding rather than the urgency of social expectation. In a society that thrives on constant connection and reaction, those who disconnect quietly gain an advantage. Their mind is clear, their priorities intact, and their energy undisturbed. They act with precision, influence with subtlety, and live with autonomy. Disconnection is not retreat. It is preparation. It is the process by which they strengthen themselves to operate at a level most people cannot reach because they are too entangled in external noise. Spiritually awake people disappear not because they are escaping life, but because they are mastering the space between chaos and clarity. They are building the mental, emotional, and spiritual foundation that allows them to act with unwavering effectiveness. By disconnecting strategically, they reclaim power that most surrender without thought. In a world full of distraction and superficiality, this disciplined separation ensures that they remain focused, strong and unshakable, quietly advancing toward mastery while society continues to chase illusions. Inner power is the source of true independence. Spiritually awake people understand that seeking validation from others is a trap that limits freedom and clouds judgment. Most of society measures worth through approval, likes, recognition, and external praise. Those who are awake recognize that this is fleeting and unreliable. They cultivate strength from within, drawing confidence, clarity, and purpose from their own mind and spirit rather than depending on applause or acknowledgement from others. This internal power allows them to remain steady when others react emotionally, act manipulatively, or attempt to control perception. They do not need to convince anyone of their value because their sense of worth is self-sustained. By anchoring themselves internally, they are immune to the influence of criticism, gossip, and social pressure. Every attack, every slight, every judgment is absorbed without disruption because it cannot penetrate the foundation they have built within themselves. Inner power also shapes their actions. Decisions are based on strategy, clarity, and alignment with personal principles, not on the desire to impress, conform, or gain approval. This makes them decisive, consistent, and unshakable. Those who operate from external validation are constantly reacting, adjusting, and compromising. Those who operate from inner power move deliberately, with focus and intention. Emotional storms pass over them without impact. Their energy is preserved because they do not expend it defending status, proving themselves, or responding to every provocation. Every interaction is intentional. Every engagement is measured. This inner strength creates a magnetic influence. People are drawn to it, often unconsciously, because it radiates stability, calm, and authority. It does not demand attention, but attention is given because the aura of self-sufficiency cannot be ignored. Inner power also. The spiritually awake are aware that reliance on others for validation creates dependency, distraction, and distorted perception. By generating their own energy and confidence, they maintain clear judgment, sound strategy, and the ability to act without interference. It allows them to focus on what truly matters while others expend themselves on fleeting recognition. Cultivating inner power requires discipline, reflection, and self-awareness. It demands the rejection of habits, relationships, and systems that drain energy or require constant approval. It demands consistent engagement with practices, routines, and thinking that reinforce autonomy, strength, and clarity. The result is a mind unshaken by external chaos, a presence unmanipulated by social pressure, and a life guided by deliberate choice rather than reactive impulse. Innerly tied, those who rely on inner power are quietly disappearing because they no longer participate in validation games. They are untouchable, focused, and growing in ways invisible to the unawakened. Their absence is a reflection of independence, not fear. Their silence is strength, not weakness. They are building lives where influence is derived from mastery, not attention, and where the energy of others cannot dictate their path. Those who seek validation may never understand this, but those who cultivate inner power move freely, strategically and unshakably, quietly shaping a life beyond societal influence. Movement without exposure is the final principle. Spiritually awake people operate strategically, not publicly. They do not announce every action, decision, or plan because they understand that visibility can create vulnerability. Society often equates loudness with achievement, but those who are truly awake know that real progress happens quietly, deliberately, and without fanfare. Every step is measured, every choice calculated, and every interaction purposeful. By moving silently, they maintain an advantage over those who act impulsively or seek attention. Secrecy allows them to observe without being observed, to influence without interference, and to act without unnecessary resistance. Public exposure invites judgment, manipulation, and distraction. It attracts criticism and often shifts focus from the task to perception. Those who are awake avoid this trap by keeping intentions and strategies close, revealing only what is necessary when it serves their purpose. This strategic invisibility ensures that energy is not wasted defending choices, responding to opinions, or managing perceptions. Instead, it is preserved for action, insight, and growth. Operating quietly also creates unpredictability. Others cannot anticipate their next move, and this uncertainty works in their favor. People accustomed to overt behavior cannot easily influence or control someone who moves in silence. The spiritually awake capitalize on this advantage, allowing them to act effectively while minimizing resistance or interference. They recognize that influence is not about being seen or praised. It is about results, control, and alignment with purpose. Every visible step they take is intentional, and every unseen move builds momentum toward their goals. Strategic movement requires discipline. It demands awareness of surroundings, timing, and the potential impact of each action. It also requires patience, the ability to wait for the right moment, and the restraint to avoid exposing plans prematurely. By mastering this, they operate efficiently, effectively, and powerfully, while most of society expends effort in public approval and superficial recognition. Those who are awake understand that action without exposure maximizes effectiveness and minimizes unnecessary risk. Their presence is felt more through results than announcements, and their influence is built on consistency, precision, and strategic discretion. In a world obsessed with visibility, this approach allows them to quietly disappear while achieving at levels others cannot match. They conserve energy, protect their purpose, and maintain autonomy, all while advancing toward their objectives with minimal interference. Strategic, private movement ensures that they remain untouchable, focused, and effective, even as society struggles with distractions, noise, and superficial engagement. Their silent progress is deliberate, and their absence from constant exposure is a reflection of mastery, independence, and true power.